Hi, everybody. Today we are going to be working on our winter tree painting. Um, so it should look something like this in the long run, although yours will probably be a little bigger than this. But that's kind of the goal of what we want it to look like. So you are going to need a piece of paper. Probably the ones you have will probably be bigger than this. The best if it's a little bit thicker. This is cardstock, so it's a little bit thicker, but if you only have thin paper, that's fine. But you may want to use a little less paint or a little less water. You don't want it to get so wet it might tear. Okay, and then some masking tape. It may be black, it may be blue, it may be like tan, like this one. This is really big, but I like this black one. Okay, and then you're going to need paint. And everyone should, let me unblur things, shall I? Unblur, there we go. You should have paint in a palette like this. You may have to share it with some other people, and you're going to need a wide brush like this. First, you're going to make your tree. Now, I'm going to try and make mine upside down so you could see it better. But you're going to use pieces of tape to make your tree. And the nice thing about tape is you can kind of bend it to shape it any way you want. And I like the black tape because you can kind of like see where your trunk would be and everything. And you don't have to do a tree. You could do a mountain. You could do all kinds of things. But I really like how a tree looks, especially when it's white. You could even add some black marks to make it into a birch tree, which is a kind of tree. They're mostly on the East Coast that has like white bark when you peel off, like parts of it peel off. And it's really pretty. It's used a lot by Native peoples to make canoes. So I like birch. It's very pretty wood. And then the colors of paint you guys have should be blue, yellow, orange, and pink. And it's actually a powdered tempura paint that's watered down a lot. So it's basically, we made our own watercolor paint. So I'm just taking the tape and I'm making smaller pieces because on a tree, the branches get smaller and smaller. And everything goes, anything is okay. Any little torn off piece can be a different branch, different size. It's your tree, so you can do it however you want. And you can make it as complicated or as simple as you like. But it's kind of pretty in its starkness, like how there's no leaves or anything. It's just the winter remains of a tree after all the leaves have fallen off. And I think of this as what it would look like in sunrise, but you can also think of it as sunset. Okay. So once you've got your tree, you want all the tape down. What the tape is going to do is we're going to make basically a tree silhouette. So the inside is going to be white. Wherever the tape is, it will protect the paper underneath, which is white paper. You can also use any other color paper. Light colors work better with this, but it doesn't have to be white paper. It could be any color light paper. And you want to make sort of an ombre effect of different colors. So I'm going to actually work on the blue first. So I'm going to have that there's a sunrise coming from this direction. Okay, and so that it's going to go from the colors of the sunrise or sunset, from yellow to orange to pink, and then to a blue sky. Okay, but I'm starting off with the blue because that is probably going to take up most of the page. So you don't want a lot of color. It doesn't need to be super, super, super bright. This works with even a little bit of color. You'll see it as long as it's not the same color as the paper. Anyway, so, and you can use the colors in any order. You don't have to use it just like I'm doing it. It's your art project. If you want to have all pink, if you want to have all orange, it's totally up to you. Then I'm going to go to the next color, pink. And you want to merge it into the blue. So there's some transition. You could even do this with your fingers if you're willing to get your fingers dirty. Sometimes that can help blend it a little better to use your fingertip rather than the brush. But you might have to wash your hands after. And remember, I'm having the sunlight come from this direction where the corner is. So that's where there's kind of a diagonal. But you don't have to have it come that way. You could have it go any which way. This is just my suggestion. And sometimes weird things can happen. Another color will get splashed in, and just roll with it. It all's good. I had in the last one I made, there was some mistakes where some stuff got spattered and it just made it look better. Usually with art, surprisingly, mistakes can actually make things look more interesting and make it look better. So don't worry if you think something is a mistake, think of it as a happy accident. So as you see, I'm moving into the orange. And oops, see, there's some spatter, but it kind of works. So I don't mind that. Maybe that's a little bit of cloud in the sky that's picking up different colors. Just like if you see clouds at sunrise or sunset, sometimes the colors can pick up from the sunset into the clouds, and you'll have like pink clouds or yellow clouds or purple clouds. And you could definitely put clouds in your picture if you want to try that. Don't text me now, I'm busy. Okay, so I got a lot of color on it, and you can play around with it some more. It's pretty wet. So I recommend for you to wait, okay? Wait until it's dry. So the best thing, if possible, is to wait at least an hour for the watercolor to really dry. It makes this step much, much easier. I don't have an hour. So I'm going to show you what this looks like now, but the best thing to do is wait. But as you can see, as you peel the tape back, see, it's too wet, so I ripped some. But as you peel the tape back, you can see how that tree is going to look where it's white. And it's not going to be perfect. You may have some other colors bleed through, and that's okay. Okay. You may even pick up some of the paper with the tape, and that's all right. Depends how strong the tape is. Just be gentle, and it should work out for the best. But again, it works a lot better if this is dry first. But I just want you to see what it looks like so you can see how that looks. Okay, and then hopefully it's going to be easier for you when this is completely dry than it is for me right now. I just want you to see how some of that looks. But see, since it's wet, some other pieces came up. So I promise it works better when it's dry. Okay, but you got to be careful. And if some of the underlying paper comes off, it's all right. Not the end of the world. But be slow and careful with how you roll up the tape, and it should be okay. The faster you go, the more likely it is you're going to peel some of the paper up with the tape. There we go. Okay. Well, I look forward to seeing what your trees look like. Bye-bye. Have a good holiday.